So in this video I'm going to show how to create a virtual machine using Google infrastructure, that means using Google Cloud Platform, and then how to deploy a simple app on it. So let's get started. So first I'm going to create a simple app in Python. Then I'm going to create a Docker image for this app and push it to Artifact Registry, that is another service from Google Cloud, a package manager where you can store any image, and as it's fully integrated in Google Cloud, it's easy to use this image in another Google service. For example, Compute Engine, that is another Google service where I will create the virtual machine. And then I'm going to pull the image from the artifact registry and deploy it. And finally, I'm going to enter inside this virtual machine and check if the app is running correctly. So here I create a new project, and let's create an app file, py, and here we can create the main function. The idea is only to print hello and the timestamp. So let's print, and here hello at, and format with timestamp. So let's define this variable, and for that we need datetime. We're going to import this. So let's get the today date time and then print it, format as this. So first the day hyphen the month hyphen the year, and then the time as hour, minutes and seconds. That's it. And let's sleep for 5 seconds. For that I need to import time, and don't forget to set the main function as name equals main. So in this case we need to call our function. It's really simple, right? So now let's create a new folder for the infrastructure, and let's create inside the Docker file. So here, first of all, we need to use an official Python runtime as a parent image, right? So from, let's say Python, and in this case I'm going to use this image of the version 3.8 Slim. So then we need to set the working directory, and I will create the working directory as app. And we need to copy the current directory, all the content of the current directory, into the container, so into the app folder. So we are going to copy and then dot for the current directory to the app folder, so origin destiny. And then we need to prevent buffering. For that we need to use environment variable Python, no, this is uppercase, sorry, Python non-both one. Let's see if it's okay. Python, no, this is double N. Okay, it's correct. So the idea is to send the standard output and the standard error string to the terminal and avoid buffering. So finally we need to define the entry point. So to run the command to execute the Python script. So in this case the command would be, and this is a list, and first is the word Python, Python 3, just in case, and then our app, that is called app. So let's try locally the app without the Docker file, only locally. So if I open a terminal and we run Python app as in the Docker file, and we receive the time and it's waiting. I forgot to add the while true. So let's try again. And now it's running without finishing. Every 5 seconds it's going to print hello at the timestamp. Okay, so next step is to go to your project of Google Cloud. If you don't have one, you need to create a project, and Google is going to ask you your credit card information, but it's going to give you a free trial of 3 months. As you can see here, I'm on free trial and I have 69 days remaining, and full content, unlimited access to all Google Cloud Platform services. Okay, so here we are going to look for artifact registry. Yeah, this one, the Universal Build Artifact Management. Okay, so if this finished to load, you can see I have 2 folders, and let's create a new one for this project. So this is the name, and what we are going to save are Dockers, and it's standard, and the region, let's look for this one, and finally create. This takes some minutes, and here we have the new folder. So now we want to push the image, build the image and push it to this folder. Okay, so let's go back to the terminal so we can build the Docker image and then push it here to this folder. So to build the Docker image, we are going to use the command docker build with no cache. This is not important the first time, but later we need to use no cache in order to have always the last version of the code. And then we need to identify the platform, that in this case will be Linux, because our virtual machine will be using operation system of Linux. And then we need to tag it with any name. So let's say docker build no cache and the platform, that is Linux, as I was saying. And then we will tag it with the name hello and the version, that in this case is the first version, so 1.0.0. and then if the Docker file is in the working directory, you only need to put a dot, but in this case we are going to identify where to look the Docker file, and it's inside infra, and then the dot for building in the current directory. And this is going to take some seconds, and now it's finished. And now we need to tag this image. Now it's tagged with hello, but we are going to retag it with docker tag, and we are going to use this name. And then for the new name, we're going to copy this folder, okay, the folder of that we have already created in Google Cloud. So we are going to copy this, and this is the folder, and we need to add a slash and the name and the version, okay. So I'm going to copy this at the end, and this is super quick because we are only giving another name. And then we can use docker push using this new name, okay, docker push. And this is going to take some minutes because it's pushing the layers. Ready. So if we go back here and we refresh, we can see that just now created the new hello image, and here the version is tag 1.0.0. Later, if we add more versions, new versions are going to list all of them here. So now what is left is create the virtual machine, okay. So for that we need to go to Compute Engine, that here it lists you the service is a virtual machine, GPUs, CPUs, and we're going to do it all manually. Later in future videos I can show you how to do it with commands or with Terraform for code infrastructure as code, but in this case we're going to keep it simple and do it manually. So let's click in create instance. So here, first of all, the name, you can put whatever you want. So instance 1 hello would be mine, and then you need to select the region and zone, and that's depend on where your app is going to be used. So in this case I'm going to select this one because it has low emissions of CO2, and the zone, let's keep it like it is. And then you need to select the machine, so you can choose if it's compute optimized or memory optimized, or if you need a GPU, but we're going to use the general purpose, and this one, the default low cost and day-to-day computing. And you can see here an estimation of the monthly cost, and this is how much it costs per hour, but if you are in the free trial it's going to be free. And here we can select, for example, less memory because we don't need a lot of cores or a lot of memory, but in this case it's more expensive, so let's give in the default, and let's define the container. That is the key point here. So you want to deploy a container and the container image, and you can define where it is, and it gives you this example. So we are going to copy this name, the folder in artifact registry. So we copy here, and this is the command is only needed if you want to change the command that the image is using, but it's not the case. So I'm going to select. So it's saying me that E2 instance requires spot provisioning model to terminate your VM on host maintenance. So let's choose spot. Set a time limit. No. Okay. And that's all. We are not going to change anything about the boot disk because it's image of Linux, so it is okay. And we don't need access to internet or access to any other service of Google, so let's create it. And now we need to wait some minutes until the image is deployed. The task has finished, so we can enter using the SSH key. We click here and the keys are going to be transferred. So we can enter the virtual machine. Here we need to authorize. Let's wait until it asks me to authorize. Here it is. So now it's establishing the connection, and here we can run any command as we were inside a terminal. For example, we can print working directory or list any file here where it's empty, and we can run, for example, docker ps to show all the processes that Docker is running, and we have only one, and as you can see is the image that we upload with the command we define. So we can check the logs with docker logs and the ID of the container, and we can add follow, so we see the logs without with the tail continuously. And here you can see all the printed, and then is continue printing the timestamp with hello and the timestamp. So that was it. I hope it was helpful, and as you can imagine, you can create more complicated apps and deploy it in a virtual machine and use the infrastructure of Google. In a following video, I'm going to create a service in Python and deploy it in a virtual machine and show you how to access from the internet. So let me know if it was helpful and if you want to see a video of another thing. See you around. Bye bye.